Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Robert Scott Perry. I'm talking to you from Portsmouth, Rhode Island. It is, I believe, the 7th of October. We're coming in close on Election Day, November 6th, 2014. And I think I have this question, or excuse me, I have this question that I've been thinking about for months. How to ask the question, and is it an important question? Because, of course, I want to be in the Senate. And I need to be in the Senate for your sakes, for all our sakes. We need men that are willing and women that are willing, like myself, to go to the Senate and ask tough questions of the people for whom the Senate has oversight. And the one tough question I have to ask is, what's the difference between a general warrant and the way that the Total Information Awareness Network operates now under all the intelligence communities, particularly out of the NSA, but the CIA uses it a lot. So I thought to myself, that question that I just asked, by the way, my name is Robert Scott Perry. I'm running to beat Jack Reed to become the U.S. Senator from Rhode Island. Robert Scott Perry, please vote for me on Election Day. It's coming up quick, folks. Robert Scott Perry, U.S. Senator, to replace Jack Reed. He writes John Reed. I don't know, maybe it's his old spook habits. He was a Ranger. Of course, back then the Rangers weren't allowed to know anything, even though they were actually working for intelligence, but we won't get into that. Who knows what he did when he was in the Army Rangers. Okay, back to general warrants. We fought the Revolutionary War because one of the things we really didn't like was that the Crown would send somebody here and they would find out who had access to the ability to communicate back and forth, and they would put out a warrant against them, and they would search everybody's house that had this secret intelligence, this intelligence ability of sending in a piece of information from one house to the other. So back then, if you had a pen, of course they had expensive pens back then, mostly they were pencils, and a pencil, you were searched. They made a warrant that said anybody in Bristol or Portsmouth or whatever town, they could even say a whole state, they were the Crown. They were the king. They were who we were trying to get rid of. Anybody that had a pencil and a pen, they were all of a sudden allowed to search it. So they got rid of our privacy to communicate. That was called a general warrant. We didn't like that. We fought a whole frigging war. Okay? We almost destroyed the whole thing. We were ready to die rather than have someone be able to come into our home with a warrant that said we can search everybody's home on the whole street, in the whole town, in the whole state. The word general warrant meant not really warrant, but rather we'll search anything we friggin' want to, and you can't do anything about it. That's what the king did to us. We told him to screw. So what I want to ask the CIA, okay, if I was on Senator Fienstiens' intelligence committee and lack of oversight committee, oversight committee, because they have no intelligence, of course, you see. That's a joke there, right? And there's a total lack of oversight. Let me explain why. While Jack's buddy, Senator Fienstiens, was investigating the intelligence committee, and I think Jack might have been doing it too, you see, the CIA was running the computers they were using. So the CIA, the intelligence committee, were investigating, well, let me look this up, Google this, Google that, and every time they Googled something, the CIA replaced it with whatever the CIA felt like sticking in there. So the CIA was laughing their ass off at you, Jack, and Senator Fienstiens. They were laughing their asses off at you because you were trying to investigate them, and everything you asked, they knew the question before you asked it because they were listening to you. They were spying on you. That's their job, spying. Your job as senators is to make sure that their spying is legal, that they don't have general warrants for everybody's paper and pencil. So, because they're so smart, and because, we're smart too, they explain it to you. They're not going to do the general warrant thing. They're just going to search everybody's telephone, That's okay. And everybody's cell phone. And everybody's other kind of cell phone. And if you got a smartphone, we're going to look at that too. And if it's got a little computer in it that holds all your home information, your private information, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, pictures of your aunt as she was bending over something and you took a private picture, everything. It all is going to be put into this basket total information awareness. You see, it's not a general warrant, Senator Fienstiens. The CIA was trying to hold laughter back while they were saying to you. It's not total information awareness. We only search all the cell phones and computers and fax machines. Oh, you don't even know what they are. Beepers. I'm sure you haven't heard of those. Anything that goes beep, they decided they could search. So what I wanted you to ask, Jack, was what is the difference between the general warrants that the British government, that the Crown used against the colonies, that we fought an entire Revolutionary War about, was their ability to walk in the door and search anybody they wanted to, and the use by the NSA, through the Total Information Awareness System, of tapping everybody's phone in the whole country. In fact, excuse me, in the whole world. I would like to ask not only the CIA, but former legal professor, President Barack Obama, how in the hell can you possibly explain to an American that these warrants, these total lack of warrants that you, these fake warrants that you use FISA to create, are somehow legal? That the pen and paper that they used to search everybody's pen and paper in the whole country, that's what the Crown used to do, you see. How is that any different from searching everybody's telephone and everybody's computer and everybody's everything? You can't have anything. Anything you communicate with, the government owns it. They can search it. And if you're the president, or excuse me, if you're the head of the Senate Unintelligence Total Lack of Awareness Information Network, if you work for the Senate and they give you a job called senator and so you get to run this committee, they can listen to you too. In fact, they're going to be laughing their asses off at you, Jack, like they were last time. While you guys investigated the CIA, they were listening to every word you said. So my question is there a difference between the general warrant? Is there a difference between the general warrants that the Crown used against the colonies and the Total Information Awareness warrants that come out of the FISA court that you understand, Jack, is being done all the time to listen to every telephone in the whole world? How is there a difference? The world should have a revolution against our NSA. Never mind us. We have to dissolve it. It doesn't work. The first president who found out about the NSA, about people being listened to en masse, listening to everybody at one time, the first president who heard about it said, "What are you, crazy? Shut that friggin' thing down." That president, well, he left office, and the next president got tricked into it, and he looked at it, and he says, "Ooh, geez, I think that's terrible. We got to stop that." Boom. And then a bullet took that president out. Everybody, all the way back to Eisenhower, Truman, who heard about intelligence activities being conducted away from the knowledge of the people, the knowledge of the presidency under the administration, or through the Senate, its ability to oversee administrative activities. Every president who ran into it said, no. You can't have an army that's run by the CIA. You can't have military capabilities that can go out there and do things and the president doesn't get told and the Senate doesn't get told. You guys are all wrong. The CIA are laughing their asses at you, Jack. They're reading everything you write. They're listening to everything you hear. Okay? We have to get rid of total information awareness. Somebody please explain to me. How is it different that they can listen to every phone, every computer that we have, and how is that different from them looking at every piece of paper and every pen, as in the colonial times? General warrants. The Crown used general warrants. The new Crown, the CIA kings and queens, the NSA emperor, okay, they search every phone, every fax machine, okay, every way of communicating that we have. In other words, total information awareness. That's what they're doing now, Jack. That's why I want to go to Washington. That's why I want your job. I want to actually ask the question, what is the difference between the general warrants of the Crown and the Total Information Awareness Network that has been created through FISA, and why shouldn't we arrest all of you? Those who didn't oversee it and those who put the program onto the backs of the American people. We have an alien on our back, and it's sucking our thoughts out. It's sucking out all our information. And don't kid yourselves about the financial problems that we had. If they knew everything, they knew about that too. That's right. The CIA, the NSA, they knew about all that stuff. but they were only there to protect us from, terrorists with beards. If the terrorists had suits on and they were robbing all our money, the CIA didn't do anything to help us with it. Figure that part out. So my question is, what's the difference, Chairman? Okay, what's the difference between the general warrants that we fought against the Crown to get rid of and the Total Information Awareness Network that you're running today in this country? 2014, we still haven't gotten rid of the monkey on our back, the monkey that came with the Crown. Get off our backs, get out of our brains, let us communicate in peace. We have privacy, and we're going to keep our privacy one way or another.